Another beautiful day and another message that I'm going to share with you today. I have a question. When was the first time you started cooking? How old are you? So for me, I started cooking when I was 8. Yeah, I was about 8. And it was by default. It wasn't my choice. I was okay with my mom cooking and making all these delicious meals and me just being served. But how did I learn to cook? See, my mom taught me a very valuable lesson. In my culture, soup, it's like that traditional food that you eat every day. And I appreciate soup right now because that's another way of tricking yourself to have more liquids in your body, mixed with vegetables. But as a kid, I just couldn't stand the taste of soup. There was something about those like boiled onions and I don't know, there was just something about it, like I couldn't stand it. Well, they're not about to change the whole culture for my own personal needs, right? So, and you've probably had your own food as a kid that you didn't like and you were feisty about with your parents, like I don't want to eat that, right? Like give me my bag of Cheetos or pizza or whatever it was for you that you like. So I would come home and my mom would have soup for lunch and my face would just go white. Like soup again, like every single day. My mom turned around and said, if you don't like the food that I just made so much effort to make, go make your own. Okay. So now I have two choices. I can stay stubborn for what I believe in and go hungry, or I get to make my own food. And then it sparkled in my head. One of my favorite foods growing up was mashed potatoes, like filled with butter and like you fry the butter a little bit and it has that sexy smell. And instead of water, I would add the milk to it. I would not recommend that these days, and there will be a different video on dairy products. But as a kid, like I loved it, and it was like freshly ground potatoes, and the milk was from our own cow, so a very, very different type of butter and the milk that we had. It was not filtered, like it actually tasted like magic. So it was easy, like okay, I'll boil the potatoes, smash them up, add the butter and da-da-da. So I was having mashed potatoes, and then I'm like, okay, I'm tired of mashed potatoes. I started making some other stuff. So one by one, I started asking my mom questions and I learned how to cook early on. Little did I know that I set myself this huge trap, because by the time I was 11 years old, when my parents will go to the city, they'll give me this huge list of things to do around the house. And one of them was make food and make sure it's warm and ready to go by the time we get home. I don't know what you're doing when you were 11 years old, but that was my list of things to do. Clean the house, feed all the animals, do all this stuff, and also cook food. So I learned how to cook early on. The main reason I want to share this story with you is cooking your own food adds something magical to it. And I'm thankful enough for my mom putting her foot down and asking me to either cook my own food or go hungry, because I've been fortunate enough to cook for years and years and years, and now I just improvise. I don't follow recipes. I just look in the fridge, I throw some stuff in, and I make magic out of it. But that comes with years of experience. What happens when you make your own food home? And I want to encourage you to do the same thing. You add one main ingredient that you will never, ever, ever get in a restaurant. And that ingredient is called love. And you're like, what are you talking about, Veronica? Think about it. When you're going to a restaurant, you can have the most delicious gourmet style meal. You feel a certain way. When you go home and your mom or your grandmother gets to cook something that you grew up with, something that makes you feel like home, makes you feel warm, what do you think that is? She made it with love. She made it because she was thinking about you, or he, I don't know who cooks in your family. I encourage you, if you don't ever cook, maybe start cooking once a week, maybe twice, maybe 3 times. And truly put all the love that you have in that food and nourish your body with it. Because that will elevate you, your mood, that will make you lighter and happier and more joyful. And if you want to invite some friends and neighbors to celebrate with, go for it. And if it's something really healthy and delicious, call me. I thank you for your time and I'll see you in the next video.